Submissions are now open for the 2024 National STEM Challenge, which is the first ever nationwide initiative for students in grades 6 through 12 from across the U.S. and its territories. Here to chat more about how to get involved is the National STEM Challenge Director, Kari, Byron. Kari, thanks so much for joining us today.
I'm excited to be here. I live in the Bay Area my whole life, so.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, we are so happy to have you. And talk about this National STEM Challenge, the first really ever of its kind here nationwide. But tell us, what is the STEM Challenge, Kari, for so many who would love to know?
So the National STEM Challenge is a nationwide competition so that we can find the best and the brightest. So grades 6 through 12 students can submit a project to the nationalstemchallenge.com. They submit 3 slides, a PDF, and they've got to come up with projects that will make a positive impact in the world. Something that will be good for their people, their community, or the world at large under 6 categories, which are future foods, environmental stewardship, space innovation, tech for good, health and medicine, and did I say space innovation already?
You did.
I did. It's sort of like naming all the dwarves. You always forget one.
That's okay. But 6 different subjects that they basically have to cover to enter this challenge, it sounds like.
Those are the 6 themes. They can enter anything under those 6 themes.
Okay, awesome. So it sounds like it's going to be an amazing challenge, and there's still so much time for people to participate. What is it that you want people to know, especially here in California, in terms of this challenge?
Actually, there's not a lot of time left. This is supposed to be the final deadline week. We were going to end on the 12th, but this is the scoop news for you right here. We're extending it a couple days because there's an election and Veterans Day. We want to make sure that kids from communities all over, from everywhere, are able to participate, and sometimes that's only from their schools. So since a lot of schools are closed, we're extending the deadline for submissions to the 15th at 9 p.m. Pacific time.
Amazing.
And I gotta say, I've got an East Coast, West Coast thing going with my business partner, the other director of the festival, because she's New York, and New York are leading California in submissions. We're in the top 5, but we're at the bottom of those top 5 for submissions. And this is Silicon Valley.
Yes.
We should have so many champions from right here.
Yes, exactly. So this is a shout out to all of our Silicon Valley people out here and just everyone here in the Bay Area, California. We want more submissions. And something interesting about this, it is the first of its kind. How did this come about, Kari?
Well, since my Mythbuster days, I have been a part of so many different science fairs, and I've always felt just that hope from meeting kids with the creativity to solve world's problems. And I wanted this to come back, so I decided to build it from scratch with my partner of EXPLR Media. We have a digital streaming platform that does educational videos for kids. So we thought, who better to build this and make it more accessible and bigger than ever before than somebody who's already in the classrooms. So not only are we doing the challenge to find champions to fly to DC with all expenses paid for the kids, but we're also creating a year-long campaign of digital content that's going to be a companion piece to the festival, so we can create a STEM community so kids in all sorts of areas, from rural to urban to suburban, can all inspire each other, and we can keep this constant conversation going because we don't know where those kids are. We don't know, but the educators and the parents know. It might be the kid in the back of the classroom that doesn't raise their hand that's the genius or the creative genius that we're looking for.
And what is really mainly the priority when it comes to why develop this STEM challenge? I know you said, okay, let's help get the kids to help solve world problems because they are our future and they're so bright. But really, what do you want the kids to take away from this challenge?
I think that there's 3 really important things that we need to teach kids that are going to help them in their future and ours. Critical thinking, empathy, and confidence. So empathy is trying to solve these challenges that'll make a positive impact. The confidence comes from the positive reinforcement they get, because when they submit their projects, they're going to get real-time feedback from actual people in the industry. So maybe you're doing something on vertical farming that could be a space innovation. You might get an astronaut telling you how you might do your science fair project better or why it's good. So we're actually engaging the entire community of STEM, the educators, the industry, and the kids.
Oh my goodness. So there's just so many benefits to this. Not only are the kids, like you said, going to gain some confidence, they get to be able to show their smarts off too. And like you said, oftentimes it could be the kid in the back of the classroom who doesn't have his voice heard so many times. So what do you want parents to know truly about this challenge when they're helping their kids submit?
So I want parents, educators, and anybody who's STEM adjacent, if you know a kid that maybe had a project last year, they can submit that as well. Like, science is a movable creature. Like, it's constantly evolving. So if you've got a science fair project from last year that maybe you've done some improvements to that needs to be recognized, you know who those kids are. Get them to submit right now.
Amazing. And what are some of, I know you can't give us too many details, but what are maybe some of the things that have surprised you about this process so far? I know it's not finished, but anything that's really caught your eye?
I mean, I am surprised by how much involvement there is and how much excitement. We started off thinking that we were going to have a national STEM challenge that was going to bring kids to DC for the National STEM Festival, which is presented by us and the Department of Education. It's going to be more than a festival now. It's basically an entire week of STEM taking over Washington, D.C., and every single department of the government has signed on to be a part of it. So it's going to be insane. Kids are going to get opportunities to sit at round tables with the leaders of our country and the leaders of industry, and actually as stakeholders get to discuss with them what is concerning them about the future.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I'm glad you mentioned that part too, because that might get a lot of other people a little bit more excited to know that literally the leaders of this country are going to be participating and kind of chiming in and seeing all of these amazing things that the kids are presenting. So one more time, where can people find a little bit more information? And if they do want to submit, how do they do it, Kari?
So nationalstemchallenge.com is where the submissions go. But you can follow us on all the social medias. You can follow me on the social media so that we can keep you up on the details. But it's nationalstemchallenge.com. And also, it's free to enter.
Okay, free to enter.
And it's easy.
All right, and one more time with the deadline.
The deadline is Wednesday, 9 p.m. Pacific time.
Okay, so next week, everybody, 9 p.m. Pacific time. Kari, thank you so much.